Hello everyone. Today we are going to learn social science, okay, a history, chapter number 1, the French Revolution, part 3, okay. So last time we have discussed about did women have a revolutions, okay. So up to here we have done last time. So in France, that means the political right, okay, the political right was getting in 1946. That means it was finally in 1946 that the women in the France won the right to vote. That means the right to vote, okay, was got in 1946. Okay, up to here we have done last time. So we will take one story about the revolutionary, okay, the life of a revolutionary woman. That is what Olympe de George, okay, 1748 to 1793. Okay, so let us study. Let us start. Olympe de George, okay, was one of the most important of the political active women in revolutionary France. Okay, she protested against the constitution and declaration the right of man, and as a citizen they educated women, okay, women from basic right that each human being was entitled. So in the 1791 she wrote the Declaration of Right of Women and Citizen, which she addressed to the queens and the member of National Assembly, demanding act upon it. In 1793, Olympe de George criticized the Jacobin government forcefully closing down women clubs. Okay, so she tried by the National Convention. She charged her with treason, and soon after she was educated. Look here, one woman, okay, this woman's, okay, he was taking an active role, okay, active roles from the French Revolution. That in 1791, okay, in 1791 she thought that with that National Assembly, okay, that women will get the political right, but they doesn't get, okay. So that's why she write to the queens about the political right of the women, okay, but they doesn't get, okay. So with the help of that, in again in 1973, okay, in 1973 what happened, that Jacobin government, okay, also they doesn't give, okay. That means during that time, Jacobin time, also the women are also playing an active role, okay, they are active role. They thought that that government, okay, the Jacobin government, they will give, okay, political right for the women, but they doesn't get, okay. So after that what happened, she tried again, she tried by the National Convention. After National Assembly, the convention, okay, that convention is what the church, okay. So in convention also they doesn't get. So that's why that, okay, this Olympe de Gorge, okay, was what educated, okay. This was the story. That means the women are taking active role, okay, from the beginning, okay. So women are still struggling, okay. So now let us start, okay. So some important basic right, uh, that means which was said by the Olympe de George, okay. Let us see. The first one is what, women is born free and remain equal to men. That means they want the same right what the men are getting, okay. And the second one is what, they want the political, okay. That means this right means the liberty, property, security above all. That means whatever the women, okay, men get, they want all that things, okay. And the third one is what, the source of all sovereignty reside the nation, which is nothing but the union of men and women. That means they want, okay. That means the nation, okay, the nation have what, women and men. And why they are separating the power, okay, and why they are separating their right. That means they should get equal, okay. They should not treated unequal, they should be treated equally, okay. So the law should be expressed for general will, all female and male should be say either personally or by their representative. That means whatever the woman got, okay, in terms of anything, okay, they should get equally as men, Okay, that means women have to get everything, equal wages, okay, equal voting right, and they can do represent for their locality also. That all were what they demand. Okay, so no woman is an education, she is accused and arrested and detained in case of determined by law. Okay, women like men obey this rigorous law. Okay, that means women also what they are taking what the same things what the man was taking in a what in a revolution. That means women are also taking active role. Okay, so why they are separating, okay, from any law? Okay, so that means they want equal status. Okay, up to this, okay, we have studied. So let us continue. That is what topic number 5. Okay, that the abolition of slavery. Okay, that means during that time the French was what so before the French Revolution, what happened, there was a slave. Okay, that means slave trade is very common. Okay, so slave trade is very common. Okay, let us see. One of the most revolutionary social reforms of the Jacobin regime was the abolition of slavery in the French colony. Okay, that means during the time of Jacobin. Okay, during the time of Jacobin, what happened? So slavery was what abolished. Okay, that means they have taken out the uh, slavery. Okay, so the colony, okay, the colony in the Caribbean, okay, Martin, okay, Guadeloupe and San Domino were the important supplier of commodities such as tobacco, indigo, and sugar and coffee. Okay, let us see. These are the some. Okay, these are the some colonies. Okay, they supply from here. The French used to got what so many supply from this area, but what happened? But the reluctance of the European to go, that means the European can go to huge distance, okay, for their work. So they want slave, so to keep their to look after their all the agricultural farm, like for plantation or for something. Okay, that means during that time the French colony, okay, the French colony, they have a lot of French colony in that particular place. Okay, they keep their slave and to look after all their farms. Okay, from there they are supplying. Okay, so that the European peoples, okay, that the French people, they cannot work there. Why? Because they thought that they are the highest. Okay, they are the high post, so they want that means they don't want to do any work. So they what they buy slave, and what happened, and they keep in that particular farm, and that slave have to look all the work activities of that area. Okay, so but the reluctance of the European to go work in distant and unfamiliar land means the shortage of labor on the plantation. That means the French people or the European people, they cannot walk up to that too much distance for the work. Okay, so this was made by a triangular slave trade between the Europe, Africa, and America. That means during that time they have been doing what tradings. Okay, suppose this is in America. Okay, suppose this is in America, and this is in Europe. Okay, so and this is in Africa. Okay, so this is Africa, they are doing trade. Okay, that means the European people, they came to what Africa, and they are buying. Okay, they bought more peoples like Negroes. Okay, African people, they bought here, and they used to sell here. Okay, they are selling here, okay, in Europe. And from by selling slave, okay, that means they are doing slave of peoples now, they are selling here. So this place, they used to get huge amount of money from this selling of slaves. Okay, so after selling to other place, okay, that the slave have to be transported to the Africa. Okay, in not Africa, they are transported to the America. Okay, this place, and there they are doing what plantation. Okay, here they are doing plantation. That means from here they are brought slave here, and they are selling here, and after that they brought to what they send to America, and they are doing what all the agriculture. Okay, that planting or everything they have to look after. Okay, this is called a triangular slave. Okay, this is called a triangular slave. Okay, The slave trade began in the 17th century. The French merchant, okay, sailed from the port from the breadecks of the natives to the coast, the African coast, where they bought the slave from the local chieftain, okay, and branded and the shekels. That means they used to brought, okay, they are this slave they have brought from the African coast, okay, African coast, and they were what marked. That means branded means what marked. They are putting seals, okay, and shackle means what they are handcuffed or something like that, okay. So like that they were brought, they were tightly packed in a ship, okay, and for 3 months for the buoyant across the Atlantic and reached to the Caribbean, okay. So they were sold to the plantation owner. That means they were sold in a plantation owner. So the exploitation of slave, okay, labor made it possible to meet the growing demands in the European market of sugar, coffee, indigo, okay. Port city like Bordeaux and the native owns the economic prosperity to the flourishing of slave, okay. I've already told you this, even in Europe, okay, these two areas, that is what Bordeaux and the Nantes, okay. In these two areas they got lot of incomes from slave trade, okay. So they got lot of money. So look here, we can study, okay, we can find out that in the National Assembly, okay, after what happened, the French Revolution, okay, that is what 14 July 1789. After that they are formed what, after State General they form National Assembly. In the National Assembly form of government, they did not abolish slavery, okay, slavery. Why? Because during that times, okay, that the National Assembly is formed by the prosperity people, okay, they are formed by the prosperity groups now. That means the third state people who belongs to the prosperity, that means they have got they are doing merchants, okay, they are doing tradings, and they got lot of knowledge, okay, education knowledge. So they are earning lot of money by tradings. Now if they ban this slave, that means their income is going to be what, deduct, okay, their income is going to be what, reduced. So they are not abolish what, this slave trade, okay. Why they are not slave during the National Assembly, okay, because that during that National Assembly, okay, which was formed by the third stage of the prosperity peoples, okay. That means and that means they are mostly belongs to the merchants, okay, traders, okay. These merchant traders, okay, they have a lot of what, income from plantations, okay. So that's why if they stop slavery, then what happened, their income is going to be what, slow down, okay. That's why. And next is what, let us see. Throughout the 19th century, okay, throughout the 19th century there was a little criticism of slavery in France, okay. The National Assembly had long debate about whether the right of the man could be extended to France subject, including to those in the colonies. That means even in the National Assembly they were discussed, okay, about the abolition of what, that's slavery, okay. But actually they don't want to abolish this slave trade, okay. If their slave trade is what, abolished, then their income is going to reduce, okay, it is going to be decreased. So that's why they are only discussing, okay, they are doing only discussing or debating about that matter, but they are not totally abolished, okay. Because most of the income, okay, around 90%, okay, around 70-80% their income is what, they are coming from that one, okay, slave trade, okay, or they are then mean from slave trades, okay. That's why they are not solving, but did not pass any law enforcing opposition from business. Those income is depend on the slave trade. I've already told you their income is depend on slave trades, okay. So it's finally the conventions in which 1794 legislature to free all the slave in the France overseas position. That means after the National Assembly, okay, that means the next is what, the Jacobin government, okay. That is what convention, okay, they have started convention. So in convention is what, mostly from the poor, okay, that is also from the third stage people, but especially belongs to the poor groups, okay, poor peasant, okay. So that's why they have abolished this trade, okay. So after the coming of convention form of government, so they have abolished what, the slave trades, okay. Yes, this is how turned out to be the short terms, okay. That is 10 years later the Napoleon reintroduced slavery. That means during the Jacobin, okay, during the Jacobin time they have abolished this slave trade, okay. And next, after the 10 years, what happened? So after coming of Napoleon Bonaparte, okay, after coming of Napoleon, that means they have reintroduced again the slave trade, okay. During the Jacobin time the slave was what, removed, okay. Jacobin removed the slavery, okay. So after again reintroduce after 10 years, okay, after 10 years they reintroduce again, okay. By whom? By Napoleon. You have, don't forget the, okay, don't forget this one. Who abolished this slave trade? Jacobin government, okay. That is convention, okay. So again after 10 years, okay, Napoleon again reintroduced. That means it was reintroduced again by whom? By the Napoleon, okay. You have to know this one, okay. So plantation owner understood their freedom as including their rights to slave the African Negro to pursue their economic interest. That means during that times, the plantation owner, even the Negroes, okay, African Negroes, okay, that means the black people they used to call what, Negroes, na. So these people they know their interests, okay. And finally in 1848, okay, in 1848 the slavery was finally abolished, okay, abolished in the French colony in 1848. That means the this slave, okay, this slave trade, okay, slave was what, totally abolished in the year 1848, okay, 1848, okay. Don't confuse, okay, don't confuse, look here. So in the France, okay, from the beginning there was a slave trade, okay. From the slave trade they European people they used to get a lot of income from that one, okay. After the coming of Jacobin government the slave trade have been abolished, okay. And after the death of Jacobin, so they are not able to keep the law, okay, about this abolition of slave. So after the 10 years, after 10 years of abolition, again the slave trade was reintroduced again. By whom? By the Napoleon, okay, by Napoleon. And during that times the owners already know that what is the importance of slave and what is their right, okay. So they came to know, so that's why they are becoming very aware again. In 1848, okay, this slave is was totally abolished from the French colonies, okay. It was totally abolished from the French colony in the year 1848, okay. So the next topic is what, this is also very important, the revolution and everyday life, okay. The revolution, okay, what is the okay, relation, okay, the revolution and the everyday life, okay, what are the changes, okay. So let us study, okay, let us learn. So can politics, okay, can politics change the clothes people wear, the language they speak, or the book they read, okay. The year following 1789 in France, so many such changes in the life of men, women, and the children, okay. Politics, okay, politics can be changes. Can politics, okay, can politics can change the clothes of the people, the language of the people, or the books they read, okay. So they can change, they can change everything, or what. So let us see what are the changes, okay. This politics, okay, changes, okay, it brought so many changes in the life of man, as well as the life of women, as well as the life of children. That means they changes, a lot of changes in the people of France, okay. So the revolutionary government took it up in themselves to pass law that would translate their the ideal of liberty, equity into everyday practice. That means after this, okay, 1789, what happened, revolution, that means the French society brought so many changes. That is what equality is, okay, about the equality and what are the rights and what are the liberties, okay. And that means to the people of France, and that changed a lot of, okay. That means before that they cannot talk they cannot talk in against of the governments or something, okay. They are not free, okay. But after that revolution they got so many freedom and they got so many liberties, okay. So they brought so many changes, okay. One important law that came into effect soon after the storming of Bastilles in the summer 1789 was the abolition of censorship. That means one big changes, okay, which was brought after the French Revolution, okay. That is what censorship. That means in the old regime, okay, in the old regimes, what happened, all the written material and the cultural activities, okay, book, newspaper or play could be published or performed only after they have been approved by the censor of the king. That means in the old regime, okay, before these revolutions, okay, so for the public, okay, for publication of any, to publish any book or play or anything, okay, in newspaper or anything, before publishing they have to take permission from the king. If the king approve, then only then that they can publish, okay. Otherwise they cannot publish, okay. That one, if they write in against of what king, they cannot publish. If they are writing in favor of what king, then they can publish, okay. That was, okay, that was happening during that times, okay. So that means they have not to take any approval from the king, okay. That was very big changes, okay. Now the declaration of right of man and citizen proclaimed freedom of speech and expression of natural right, okay. Now that means after that they are getting what, freedom of speech and freedom of expression, okay. Newspaper, pamphlet, books, okay, printed copy flooded the towns of France from where they travel rapidly into the countryside. That means after that means then now the any newspaper or any publication is what, they don't need to censorship from the king or from any authority. That means they can publish, okay. That means they can publish now, okay. So that's why after that, after the abolition of that censorship, then what happened, yes, they have published so many books, so many newspapers, okay. That means it reached to the even to the countryside, okay. That means it become flooded. That means there are a lot of, okay, books, okay, lot of newspaper, okay. Why? Because they are getting lot of freedom, na. They don't need to any censorship. So that's why the number of books, okay, that means they have increased, okay, in the town. They all describe and discuss the event and the changes taking place in the France. That means in that book, newspaper or anything, they describe about what are the changes brought by the what French, okay, French revolution, okay. All this where that idea have been spread throughout the whole countries, okay. Freedom of press also even what also means that the opposing view of the event could be expressed. That means now they are getting what, freedom of each side should to convince the other or to be positioned through the medium of print, okay, play, song, festive position attract the large number of people. That means now, that means for playing plays or any poem or any song, now they don't need to any censorship, so they are playing as they will, okay. So that's why we have know that one the French national anthem, okay, which was also sang by the that peoples, na. Yes, they were going for attack the Persian, okay, or Austria and Persian. During that time they song that one, okay. That means with freely, okay. So they don't need to take permission for that song, okay, to compose that song. So now they have got freedom. So that's why the number of what play, song, okay, any festive item, they have been increased, okay. So that's why the number of attracting, okay, song or something, that means the number of people is what, increasing to attract that types of things, okay. So this was one of way they could grasp their identity with the ideas such as liberty or justice. The political philosopher wrote about their length and the in text, okay. text which only a handful educated people could read. Okay, now what happened during that times? Okay, the educated people is what very less, na. So what happened? So now they got the freedom of liberty, justice, and for philosopher or something like that. Their idea have been wrote in a what books or something. Now they can give message to the people. Okay, those people who cannot read book, that means they can what they can hear by reading or something. Okay, through song or through poems. Okay, so to the people. And the last part is what? The conclusion. Okay, the last part is what? Conclusion. Okay, look here. In 1804, okay, look here. In 1804, Napoleon crowned, okay, himself as the emperor of the France. Okay, look here. That means in 1804, okay, after the death of Jacobin, okay, so what happened? There is no strong, okay, king. So after that, the middle class, okay, they try to form the government, that is directory form of government, na? That is republic form of government. That doesn't last long. Okay, so now they are taking by advantage by the Napoleon. Okay, look here. Here, directory rules of France. Okay, that means after the death of Jacobin, okay, after the death of Jacobin, the next is what? Legislative council. Okay, that is what? Middle class came to power, the voting right, new constitution, two leg. Or that means next is what? After the death of Jacobin, now the middle class came to a power. Okay, that means now the middle class, okay, the middle class, they came to power and they form what? Legislative council. Okay, now they are forming what? Directors. Okay, so the directors during this time, okay, during this time there was an instability. Okay, there was an instability in the France. Okay, there was instability in the France government. So here also they have mentioned that dictator proved that the rise of military dictator, that is what? Napoleon Bonaparte. That means during that time, after the death of Jacobin, okay, after the death of Jacobin, next is what? Director. Okay, director, that is what? Legislative council. Okay, that the middle class form a government. So that middle class people, okay, they are not able to hold that France. Okay, that means during that times, okay, after the death of Jacobin, the French government is what? Instability. Stability, there is no stability. Okay, there was an instability during that times. Okay, that they are taking advantage by whom? By the military groups. Okay, who are, okay, in here they are mentioned one military group, that is what? Napoleon Bonaparte. Okay, in 1804, Napoleon, okay, Napoleon Bonaparte, okay, Napoleon Bonaparte is what? Crowned himself as the emperor of the France. Okay, that is in 1804, Napoleon Bonaparte what? Introduced himself as the emperor of the France. Okay, so after that, what happened? He said, okay, he set out to conquer the neighboring countries. That means the Napoleon Bonaparte is a what? The military. So that's why he was conquering the neighboring countries. Okay, he was conquering the neighboring countries. Okay, disposing the dynasty and creating kingdoms. Okay, where he planned member of his family. Okay, Napoleon showed his role as a modernizer. Okay, modernizer of Europe. During these times, what happened? The plan, okay, the plan which was made by the Napoleon Bonaparte, that is very good. Okay, that was very good. So he introduced many such law. Okay, that means many such law they are introduced by Napoleon Bonaparte, and one of them is what? Protection of private property. Okay, that means Napoleon Bonaparte introduced some law. Okay, that is also well functioning of the government. Okay, so he what? Introduced what? Private property, then protection of private property, and uniform system of weight. That means uniform system of weight. Uniform of system of weight means what? Here means, okay, 1 kg of things, okay, 1 kg of sugar or anything, okay, that means if you measure here 1 kg, okay, if you measure in another place, okay, that is another state, that will be same na, that means there will be a uniform, okay, that is called a uniform. If you measure 1 kg of sugar here, if you measure 1 kg in somewhere else, okay, that means it will be same. But in during that times, what happened, there was not same, okay, they were measured, some were measured by stone, or some were measured by some bottles or something, some were measured by coin or something like that na. There was no uniform, okay, that means 1 kg of thing is was not uniform in every place, that means they were different, okay. But the Napoleon introduced the uniform weight, that means that should be fixed, okay. So the third one is what, decimal system. Decimal system, that means decimal system was introduced by what, that measure should be provided by a decimal system. That means suppose 1 kg, suppose 1 kg and 200 gram, that means that decimal is what, suppose if you measure 1 kg of sugar, suppose if you measure 1 kg, suppose 200 grams, okay, suppose if you are selling like that, in another place you are selling 1 kg, directly 1 kg, that means 200 gram is addition na. Suppose if you sell 200 gram addition, that means you are going to lose so many things, okay, you are going to lose in a great way if you are selling in a large amount. So that's why they introduced decimal system. Suppose if they're selling 1 kg 200 gram, that means they are what, they are giving in a decimal system, that means they are not going to lose now. Why? Because they introduced decimal system, okay, the decimal system of measuring of weight, okay, like that. So that means if even the Napoleon Bonaparte is also, they are giving what more importance toward the tradings na. So that's why he introduced what, that's why he introduced slavery, okay. So let us see. So initially many laws, okay, many law as the liberator, okay, who could bring freedom of the people, that means Napoleon have introduced so many, okay, freedoms to the people. But soon Napoleon army came to believe they everywhere as an what, invading force, okay. He was finally that means Napoleon Bonaparte is what, he want to rule the whole world na. Then means he want to rule, okay, that means he want to capture, he want to conquer so many countries. That means that's why his army become, okay, somewhat tired, or somewhat they don't want to conquer so many places now. That's why what happened, many neighboring countries, okay, many neighboring people, they don't like what, Napoleon, they have started. So at last Napoleon Bonaparte was defeated in 1815. That means in 1804 he introduced himself as the emperor of the France, but he was defeated in 1815, okay. In 1815 many of these measures, okay, carried revolutionary idea of liberty and modern law to other part of the Europe and impact of people for the long after. That means after the death, okay, after the death of Napoleon Bonaparte, or after the life of Napoleon Bonaparte, people like the Napoleon principle, okay, the Napoleon law, what the Napoleon Bonaparte providing, okay, laws to the people. That means so many liberties na. That means idea of liberty, modern law, that means they have provided so many things. That's why the people used to remember, okay, till today, okay. So the neighboring country, they want that one, okay. The idea of liberty, the idea of liberty and democratic were the most important legacy of the French Revolution. That means after the French Revolution, okay, then many countries, okay, throughout the whole world, the idea of liberty and democratic right, okay, which was spread throughout the whole Europe, throughout the whole world, okay. So the spread of the France to the rest, okay, to the rest of the Europe during the 19th century, okay. So where the feudal systems, where the feudal system is abolished. That means the idea of what, abolition of feudal system has been spread throughout the whole Europe, okay, or even throughout the whole world, okay. Then idea of what, liberty was spreading, okay. And so that's why the colonized people, okay, rework the idea of freedoms, okay, from bondage with their movement to create the sovereignty nation. Okay, that means after that what happened, many colonial people they try to copy and they have started that ideas na have been spread, and they want what sovereign, okay, nation states. So even from the Indian, okay, they are copied by one is what Tipu Sultan and Raja Ram Mohan Roy. Okay, these two person of Indian, okay, they are the example of individual who respond the idea coming from revolution. That means the two person, okay, about the revolutionary idea were copied. One is by Tipu Sultan and another is what by Raja uh, Ram Mohan Roy. Okay, that is Ram Mohan Roy. These two person they used to take idea of revolutionary, okay, from whom, from French Revolution. Okay, that's all for the French Revolution. Okay, yes, thank you.